I mean, this team's nuts. That's all I got to say. Off the top of my head, this team is nuts. The second thing I have to say, who said Boris clients are hard to retain? Come on now. Brandon Nimmo is back with the Mets on an 8-year, $162 million deal. And then, 10 seconds later, David Robertson appears. 1 year, $10 million. Older reliever. Looks like we know what the back end of that bullpen's going to look like. It looks like they built that up in the last 24 to 48 hours with Robertson, Raley, and Edwin Diaz, of course. So much to unpack here. I got one of the biggest Nimmo fans to my right here, so we're gonna talk about this and unpack everything. The New York Mets have re-signed Brandon Nimmo, and they also got themselves another reliever. Let's go. First stream of the night. Who knows? Let's go. I'm not even going to waste any time. How do you feel? Go ahead.
Okay, I have two ways of looking at this. Again, the GM mode, I'm going to put GM mode off. And as Brandon Nimmo, the biggest Nimmo supporter, because again, I've met this dude the second day he got drafted and got placed at the Brooklyn Cyclones. I've known this guy throughout his minor league career to get to the big leagues. And to go from what the half of the fan base said was a fourth outfielder, trade him for Andrew McCutchen, trade him for JT Realmuto, I was like, hell no, hell no, hell no. And he's a New York Met. And he will be a New York Met for a long time. And he will never play, barring a trade, if down the line, ever will be wearing a different uniform than the New York Met uniform. And this is the first time in a while that we will have a Met for life. Now that the fandom and the Nimmo simp that I am, the AAV is great. The fact that he's like less than $21 million is great. It's obviously the term. But the way free agency is going, Xander Bogaerts gets 11 years. Trey Turner gets 11 years as well. It's just the way to go. You want all-star level talent, you're going to have to pay, and it's the benefit. It's the reaction of, hey, do you want the high AAV, the Scherzer type deals, which we've only really seen from Pedro Correa took one last year with the Twins, but high stupid AAV for short term with opt-outs? Or do you just say, you know what, 8 years, you hope to get 5 elite seasons out of him, and you worry about the back half of that deal when it happens? I am ecstatic. I literally couldn't wait for Passan to tweet out, because we know Heyman and Morosi. Heyman the last week has not been the most reliable. So I was like, I'm not reacting until Passan the Passan bomb went off. And as soon as that Passan bomb went off, I was ecstatic. And again, I don't care if you hate the player because, he doesn't steal bases. He doesn't that. Personally, because I know him personally, I am ecstatic that in August when they come to Kansas City, I will be on the field for batting practice, and I will get to hang out with Brandon Nimmo in a Mets uniform and no other uniform.
This is great. I'm really happy, and I'm happy for Nimmo because this is such an easy guy to root for. We've seen this every day. 3 years ago, like you said, people calling this guy a fourth outfielder. Obviously, I was a little bit late to the Nimmo viewing party, a little bit later than you, around the end of the 2014 when this team had a lot of young players coming up, but this is a type of player that you just can't let go. This is a 5-win player when he's healthy, and he proved that he can stay healthy this year. And there's a reason why, like you said, he doesn't steal bases, because he was trying to stay healthy. When he tried to do it, he got hurt. So Stealing bases, it's a dying breed, but at the end of the day, yes, it is a leadoff hitter. It is a lot for a leadoff hitter, especially for term. But all I can say is that $20 million a year, because I'm looking at the AAV, obviously. The long term, because he's 29 years old right now, coming into an age 30 season. I'm not really looking at the term right now. I think that he is still going to play to the best of his ability for the next 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years. But all I can say is that this is an incredible AAV. What is this? $20 million. Keep in mind, that's around the qualifying offer. So we obviously have our metric system of wins above replacement, right? One win is around, depending on positional value, around 8 million, right? A 5-win player in 2022, right? So you're looking at 1 year that was worth about 39 to 42-ish million dollars, right? And you get him for $20 million. Granted, you did give him the extra years. We kind of expected more of 6 or 7 years, but this is a steal, in my opinion. It's a steal, especially with everybody that's going on the market and with the flexibility that the Mets have going down the line. I mean, I am extremely happy that they got this thing done. They needed to prove to us that they could keep a homegrown guy. It didn't happen with Jacob deGrom. He went on to Texas, and Brandon Nimmo is one of the first guys to be extended, to be re-signed, to possibly be a Met for life. And that's big. It's huge. We haven't had that since David Wright. And it's pretty much an understatement to say that David Wright finished his career. So at the end of the day, this is huge. This is something that we have been waiting for them to establish, of locking guys down who are they own guys, and this is huge. Now, David Robertson, older, but coming off of some two resurgence years. It's back-to-back resurgence years. The Mets were interested in him at the deadline. It looked like the Cubs wanted him. The Cubs wanted Calvin Ziegler. That was what the report was. And the Mets obviously didn't budge. They've been prospect hugging for a long time, and now they get him for $10 million, which on this reliever market, once again, for the term and obviously for the AAV and the value of the total value of the contract, it's pretty good. That's not bad. It really isn't. Now, David Robertson is coming into a 38-year-old season, correct? 38-year-old season. How do you feel about this one for Robertson?
Yeah, he did struggle a little bit once in the playoffs. We saw he did struggle a little bit. Obviously, blew that big save against the Mets. Mark Canha hitting the beautiful bat flip. But he had a great year last year with the Cubs. He struggled a little bit with the Philadelphia. Maybe ran out of gas again. He's an aging veteran. Was kind of overused by the Cubs. The Phillies used him in baseball. He was also injured. Didn't he get injured during the wild card round, celebrating something like that with the Phillies, and he missed some time. So, I mean, if we get exactly Judge and Bogarts and guys like that, guys that are top 10 or top 3 at their position, they're getting paid. It's just what this market is, and it's ridiculous. But I like Robertson. Again, if we get a mixture, again, do I expect a sub-2 ERA? No. But if I can get a quality setup man, maybe you bring another arm in and maybe you battle him from maybe another name. Maybe they still bring back Acevedo. Maybe now you can take a flyer on Alex Reyes because you have a legit setup man in Robertson. Maybe you bite the upside. I said that for a reason. But a guy like that, now you can maybe take a risk, kind of like what you did with the rotation when you signed Quintana. Now you can maybe take a risk with Senga. Maybe you try to take a risk here now, having your setup man in the 8th inning locked in. I'd love them to still sign another one, definitely, maybe even two more. I'm not saying $10 million relievers, but like some more major league caliber relievers. Yes, they want to go young with guys like Deoka, Drew Smith still exists, Brigham that they've brought in with minor league deals. So who have the options? I would like still one or two more guys in the pen to trust with now Rayleigh, Robertson, and Diaz. So I think it's a solid move. At $10 million in this market is surprising. I think Suarez got like seven. How much was Suarez? Like 13. So $10 million for Robertson on 1 year. It's a lot of money. He got 5 years with a 3-year opt out. So especially with this market, $10 million bucks, I'll take it. I'm not expecting sub 2, but give me a quality setup man who I can trust in a big and high leverage. I'll be fine with that.
You got yourself a backup closer, and I can tell you right now, that's something that I know the guy on the bottom of the screen has been clamoring for a while. It's about time that you join us, for God's sakes.
It's about time the Mets get a move when I'm awake. I mean, or like
be
when
nice
I'm
if that happened one time, but you're only you're only awake for like 6 hours in the day because
I'm working all the
as
other
an old
ones.
man. It happens.
You nerd.
We had a lot of people begging for you in the chat for a while. So how do you feel about this just overhaul of Nimmo and Robertson just getting signed within 10 seconds of each other? How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it happened so closely together is just like so crazy. It's like we're going crazy about Nimmo, and then I'm like, oh, this is Nimmo, whatever. Then I see another, I'm like, oh, and Robertson? Like, I didn't even expect that at all. Like, that would really caught me off guard. Because Nimmo, like, I was getting a little afraid. I mean, no doubt about it. Especially after it happened with DeGrom, I was like, oh my gosh, can that happen with Nimmo too? Like, they just get caught at the last minute. And Boris said, we're not going to give them a last chance. So if we get the best offer, we're taking it. We're not going to let them even get a chance to match. So I just thought with the kind of market he had, just the backup options that were out there, someone might overpay him. And the Mets, they kind of had overpaid the 8 years, but it's what they had to do to get the deal done. So you know what, they felt like it was a risk worthwhile. One of the things that works out in their favor is that since Nimmo is like a guy that's based off his eye, eye doesn't age. Athleticism can, but a guy that has vision, discipline, that doesn't really age. So he's a guy that he should still be a pretty productive hitter at an advanced age. He's a guy that if Alex Ramirez is the real deal, he can get moved over to a corner once Marte's contract is up. So they have that long-term flexibility there. So I'm really glad about that. And as far as Robertson, one thing I like is that you now can move Brooks Raley more to the 7th inning, more to the 6th inning, where it's like you have these high leverage spots, but you don't want to go to the back end guys quite yet. Now you can use Brooks Raley a lot of different ways. It just gives you so much more flexibility when it's like, oh, now we could use Raley in the 7th, Diaz in the 8th, Robertson in the 9th, depending on how the order is matching up. It just gives you so many more possibilities. So I'm glad they got, and for 1 year, I'm shocked with the way, like you guys said earlier, with this reliever market, everybody's getting multi-year deals. I was like, Robertson, I said in my video, I was like, no way they're going to get him. It's going to be multi-years. He's too old. They're not going to do it, but they did. So I definitely am really impressed. So I have to say that if Robertson got 1 year's 10, Ottavino shouldn't top that. Like if somebody pays more than that for Ottavino, they're just dumb. So then like you should be able to get Otto for what you got him last year. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I feel like based on what Robertson got, you should be able to get Ottavino for what you got him for last year.
At this point, like I don't know. Like I think that it's possible that that the Mets could go out to the reliever market and get somebody else, and that is again, they still need probably another guy to add to that rotation. Obviously, we know there's one name that has been talked about for the past few weeks, pretty much. I would love for the guy that they traded for last year to be one of those guys, but whatever. Now, as for David Robertson, listen, I'm not. The command and control is a little iffy. I can tell you that. He can give you a heart attack sometimes. But all I can say is that he does strike out a lot of batters. He's very good from the stretch, and that's something that we really need from a high-leverage guy that is not Edwin Diaz. But all I can say is that we're really starting to see the Mets kind of line up everything like Andrew has been saying, for this this class that is led by this superstar from Japan. And today we saw the Mets go long term with Brandon Nimmo, and they definitely defined all odds of the trend that they were really going in, because we saw a lot of short term deals being handed out, but we know that a position player was definitely the best way to do it if you're going to give a long term contract to someone, and Brandon Nimmo was definitely one of those candidates, and he got it. So, like I have been saying, they've set up a majority of their lineup for a short term, bringing in guys like Escobar, Canna, and Marte, all short-term contracts, bringing in this 3 to 4 year frame last year. At this point, if there is a position player, or if there is a pitcher that wanted term, I was okay with doing it. I don't care, again, about the back end of that contract. I don't, because you're here to win now. That's what you're here to do. You said you want to win now, you win now. You bring in Max Scherzer, you win now. End of story. 101 wins is great. A loss in the wild card is not. So, at the end of the day, you're here to win now. They're opening the checkbook right now. What he's spending on, what Cohen is spending, what did you say, is like about $400 million now? What it's up to with
tax, I think it's like $393.
$398 million with now, because Nimmo's first 40 and Robertson's 20.
We all know that Cohen wipes his ass with that. We know he wipes his ass with that type of money. But you know what? I'm happy. I really am. I'm happy that they did it. I'm happy that they can prove that they can keep their own guys. Because at a moment, I'm going to tell you right now, and this was something that I was going to talk about on our podcast, but now that's completely out the window. From what I thought, like, if it wasn't going to happen to Jacob deGrom, it wasn't going to happen with anyone, for me. And the reason why I think that is because they haven't proven me otherwise. But now they did. An 8-year deal to Brandon Nimmo. Any extra thoughts? And we'll go to the chat. For those of you watching right now, we got about 50, 60 people in here. Hit the like button. Subscribe. We have episode 1 of the podcast, of the Mets Weekly Podcast. We've been talking about this for a good week. That will be out on Sunday, middle of the day, talking about everything that's gone on in the week. We say it's 60 minutes of brutal honesty, but it might be 3 hours, because there's just been so much news going on in this last week, last 2 weeks. So, whew, I don't even know what to say. Yohan Lopez is still on the 40-man roster. I think that is going to change.
Hopefully.
I hope it changes with all the arms that they brought in.
I hope he's the move for Robertson. That'd be like the greatest press release ever. Yohan Lopez designated for assignment, David Robertson added.
I think they still have one more spot. I think they're at 38 when they acquired Riley. So Robertson. So I believe now, I think after now, any signing as of now will have a alternate move, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But yes, Yohan Lopez will be DFA very soon. And the Rule 5. So yeah, no. So yeah, be 40. So it's 40 now. So again, anybody after the fact now will have a corresponding move,
except the Nationals.
Okay, so when Carlos Correa is added, Jeff McNeil is traded. All right, cool. Good to know.
Yeah, then Escobar's your starting second baseman.
I'm okay with it.
Okay,
fine with it.
Fine.
Luis Guillorme is better than him too. And then that's when you trade for a second baseman at the deadline. There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
Just survive to the deadline.
Or at Polanco. There you go. There's a name.
Now, this is the topic of after discussing it. I mean, where do they pivot to now? I know we talked about Kodai Senga is probably on their radar as of right now. We saw some talks about Ross Stripling as well. It looked like they were going to talk to Trevor Williams about a possible reunion. I'm interested to see what a contract's going to look like for him, especially with what this market is looking like.
He's not a miracle worker. I mean, let's be reasonable, Mike. Come on.
You can't move the Cano money, but
Yeah,
I was
can
talking to
move
him
him.
before the stream about this. I mean, if you could find a way to move the Ruff, McCann, and possibly Carrasco money again,
yeah.
that's
Ruff is movable. It's
27,
$3 million.
28
Like,
million.
Ruff
But
can
who
be
would
moved.
take? But who would take him?
Some bad team could take him. You attach a prospect. Ruff
attach
is
a
actually
prospect.
movable.
It's all yours.
McCann
Yeah, well,
is not.
if you attach a prospect, yes, but it's like we already gave up 4 prospects again. Now we're gonna get
It's
rid
only
of
eating
another prospect to
$3
get rid of
million.
him.
It's not going to be a lot.
The
guy
fact is,
he's just a
it's
gift
more
that keeps on
movable than
giving.
you think. It's $3 million. It's more movable than McCann at 10 and 12.
Oh, well, yeah.
Attach Hayden
Ruff is
Senger to him.
movable, but-
He's gone. All right, that's all you got to do. And then obviously the possibility of a Carrasco trade. We saw like there was a possibility come up of Joel Sherman was talking about that. I think somebody else was talking about that, where bringing in Senga and maybe the possibility of also an addition of Ross Stripling or Trevor Williams that could raise eyebrows and put Carrasco on the possible trade market. I understand that we have some pitching depth that it doesn't look like depth yet. There's a lot of pieces that they brought in off of waivers that haven't proven themselves yet. But like Carlos Carrasco, again, this was talked about when they did pick up his option. What is it, $10 million? That's not hard to move, especially on this market. So,
Yeah, I mean they got to get the other pitchers before they do it.
Yeah.
You know, just so they have like their backup plans. But I think you still need at least 2 pitchers to do that because you definitely need 1 for now. And I think you need 1 more if you want to give Carrasco, unless they feel fully confident that McGill could have a rotation spot, and then you could kind of have Peterson, Lucchesi, and maybe even Trevor Williams like in the bullpen kind of thing. But I think you got to get at least 2 pitchers before I'd feel comfortable doing that because it's like we always say, if you think you have enough pitching, you don't. So I don't think they can be like, oh, we have all these pitchers. We don't need Carrasco anymore. Even though I'm not the highest on Carrasco, I have some things like, oh, we don't need him at all anymore. Goodbye. And we'll just take like some random young guys back. Like, I don't think it would be that easy.
I think it's an asset management type of thing with Carrasco because, like, you know, a team would want like a veteran experienced starter like that who maybe he does have a year or 2 left in him, but like it's definitely taking a bet. You know, but the one thing that I think it's just, you know, with the possibility of how much the tax is going to be for there, and even though we know the Mets are not done spending and they're not going to stop spending, it would be nice to clear up some of that. I'm just for, you know, maybe a younger guy. Maybe you turn the Carrasco money into 2 quality starters or something like minor league deals.
I think the tax has gone to the point where it doesn't even matter anymore. Like, there's no like, oh, let's get back under the tax. Like, you're
no. I'm not saying get back under the tax. I'm just saying
that, like,
clear up some space.
At this point, why clear space? It's 1 year. Like, you're screwed as it is. Just keep the guy. Just have the extra arm because it's like
I don't need pastrami arms in my rotation.
No, I get that, but I mean, do you want David Pierce to make a lot of starts?
I think Lindor is a big enough boy to handle this. I can say right now, there's been a lot of things of influence with him that he's you know, just taken on the wing of like, okay, it's only business. That's just how it is. They talked about you know, he wanted Joe Espada as the manager. They didn't get Joe Espada. He was happy with Buck. He's grown a good relationship with Buck. He wanted Robinson Cano to stay. They got rid of Robinson Cano. So, I mean, I don't think that's really that big of a factor. You know, I know a lot of the guys in that clubhouse love Cookie. He's a great guy. He's a very easy guy to root for. But, like, again, asset management is asset management, which is why they probably should have traded Taijuan Walker, but whatever. Players always seem to show up in their walk.
So I guess the roster construction point. Look at the Phillies and look at their offense. They got their big money guys. Lindor's Harper. This is their Schwarber. $20 million. It's not the term of the, you know, Schwarber was 4 years, was half of it. But there's your $20 million outfielder. You got Alonso and McNeil on arbitration money. Maybe they get extended. Maybe they don't. That's another conversation for another day.
I think they have to get him again. There's like Alonso should have been extended years ago. I don't know what they're waiting for. Like, why do you risk letting him get to open market, bidding with all these other teams, and just continue to give out insane AAVs? Like, you could have got Alonso for so much cheaper a long time ago, and they refused to do it. And I just don't get why. Like, I mean, if you want to be like the Braves and these other teams that have these good AAVs, you sign the guys young. You can't keep putting it off. You're just gonna keep hurting yourself in the long run.
I will say
the
one
difference
thing
between us and them, they have double magic. We don't, so we have to pay the money because we don't have double magic. The Braves.
In regards to Alonso, I think an Austin Riley contract should just be put on the table right now for him and see what he says for that. But as for like the younger guys, like locking down these younger guys, like how they did with Michael Harris, the Braves did with Michael Harris.
Dude, listen, if Alvarez has a breakout year this year,
that's what I was just going to say.
Extend him this year.
Give him 8 years.
Why not?
I don't care.
Why
yeah,
not?
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like if Alvarez wins, is top 3 in the Rookie of the Year race or whatever, like has this incredible breakout year, is the number 1 overall prospect that we are expecting him to be, and be that impact player. Yeah. Pay him. Just pay him.
Before you're paying
buy out arbitration. It's over.
Yeah, before you're paying like 30-something AAV when he hits free agency.
Like what he'll be at that point, he'll be, you give him an 8-year deal.
No, you can give him
a 29-year-old.
You can give him like a 13-year deal and get insane AAV on him, like they did with Harris.
Yeah.
They gave Harris a ton of years. You can do the same thing because Alvarez is so young.
Yeah, exactly. So is he the youngest guy in baseball right now?
Who?
Alvarez?
He's one of.
He's in the conversation.
Yeah. He's one of the youngest.
Yeah. So I mean, going into an age 21 season, let's say he has this Rookie of the Year campaign.
Yeah, exactly. Wander.
Yeah, exactly.
Like yep.
Exactly.
The J-Rod deal.
And that's another reason why to move the fucking McCann money. But
all right. So because we're talking about an Alonso extension. Give him the Olsen. It'll probably be north of Olsen, so it'll be $23 million a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would put him behind Goldschmidt and Freeman, which it should be, but he'd be in front of Olsen. He'd be obviously excluding Votto because his money comes off this year. Mm-hmm. He'd be the third highest first base.
Let me give you your hypothetical once again, because we talk about it pretty much like every day, every year in the offseason. Imagine the flexibility right now from what they just did, Nimmo and Robertson, if Cano wasn't on the books. We don't have to imagine that next year, but we're still imagining that right now. So,
but Martino even said, well, it's Martino, but on the podcast, Cohen's already told Epler that the Cano money doesn't count, doesn't matter. Like, he pays it, but he's told Epler that the Cano money, it's not ours. Technically, it's ours, but don't count that against it. So they're playing with the fact of, the Cano $20 million sucks, but it's not stopping them from anything. If that's the case, this is a Wilpon move. Nimmo's not here. Robertson ain't here. Like, you would have been at the money.
Oh, okay. So the chat's talking about Martino on SNY. I'm told the Mets really, really want Senga. They're not the only team, but we know Cohen's motivated.
There's a 6-year offer, supposedly. The Mets have already put 6 years on the table for him.
We'll see.
Hey, man, did you time travel from 2016 or whatever? You still think he's a 4th outfielder or something? Like, listen, this is how the market is. Those types of players are going to get $20 million a year. So, yeah.
And Nimmo has just tweeted out, "Glad to be back. Let's fucking go Mets." It's LFGM, but I gotta.
He didn't. He
didn't curse. I'm doing it for him.
He didn't put the F.
He's a good Christian boy.
There was no F.
There's no F.
There's no
absolutely not.
I'm doing it.
What is wrong with you?
I'm talking for him. He's
there are children present.
Spokesperson now.
I'm a spokesperson.
Are you Scott Boras, the agent?
Does Nimmo even go on Twitter? Like
he didn't say that.
He's somewhat active on so he's not like tying these idiots, but he's occasional. He's once a month. All right,
I'm gonna phantom retweet it because I can't retweet it in real life. So
I think as far as offense, because like we're talking about, they got all these guys, but as far as last year, as far as production, there's still a lot of similarities to last year's team. There's no question about that. But if you want to add anybody, I think the one offense position has to be a DH. The guy I'm looking at is Trey Mancini. I think market-wise, who else? They're getting a little low on bats as far as guys that would be strictly a DH.
Trey Mancini's great. I'd love it. I mean, that was one of my complimentary bats. I would love to add. I would kindly take Trey Mancini. Absolutely.
Houston wasn't pretty, but I just think he's capable of being better. And again, maybe you use that in your favor. Like again, he shouldn't cost. If the Mets are at this $400 million payroll, they don't have too much money left. Maybe Mancini's the guy.
You saw the name in the chat. All right, we think we both have the same name in the chat. Like no.
No.
Again,
no.
I think that I've said this, and like everyone's like, "Oh, Correa," like that's just a joke.
Oh.
If Correa looms into February, they could pounce. I'm just saying. It's not now. They're not going to sell him right now.
Like
here's what I will say. Even if they do get a protection bat for Alonso,
they're not going.
And we haven't really heard much about it. Yeah, if they do, they still need power contribution from one of the prospects. They still need
Alvarez. They're banking on Alvarez.
Whether it's Beatty or Alvarez, somebody has to step
or Beatty. So,
I don't hate Will Myers. I don't hate it. I don't love it though.
Yeah, I don't mind that because at least it's true. He's a DH. At least could play some positions. Like that's better than a lot of the other guys on the bench and DHs could say.
He's a lot younger than people think he is.
Yeah, he's only like 30. Yeah. I call him like 21.
I haven't seen anything on his market either, so he's a sneaky one. I like him, and he hits lefties. Like he works.
Again, him, a Robbie Gross as a bench option, clear out some of these chungus. Yeah. I wouldn't mind it, but again, I don't think unless it's like I said, if Correa is hanging around, I don't think they're gonna go big bats unless the guys who were like end of January.
Well, yeah, the thing is that like not a lot of the big bats are left.
Yeah,
as far as like power guys, there's not too much.
There's not a trade option.
You can't call me high for Mancini and then suggest JD.
JD Martinez.
I mean, come on. Look at that age.
JD Martinez. The problem with him is in a video. You can go check
in a video. Yeah, he talked about it. And then the Mets have signed one guy.
I think he already got signed.
He's going to the Giants.
I don't think he's out there. I think somebody picked him up.
The Giants got Arson.
Remember when the Mets agreed to a trade to send Brandon Nimmo to the Reds for Jay Bruce and then switches to Dilson Herrera?
And they traded him for McCutchen, too.
And McCutchen and JT Realmuto. The guy was.
That's the other thing. I saw something that like.
The one I remember was Starling Marte, who we have.
I don't know.
Oh man.
Pre-Cohen
era was something.
He's a deadline deal for that.
What Boston does after losing Bogarts, like, do they pick up Swanson or do they just say, I'm Klein Bloom, I'm going to be cheap again, and then they trade Devers? Like, I don't know.
I got Trevor Story.
I've always thought that Correa
they gave Yoshida all that money. So
I've always thought that Correa made the most sense for them last year, but they took Story. So
what else we got?
Well, if he isn't good, he wouldn't be doing a bunch of 6-out saves for you guys.
Well, that's the other thing. You kind of said, you know what, 37-year-old, go get 6 outs.
They probably
Yeah, we know Mark Hanna took him deep. We know.
Yeah, well, I mean, that extra game, the Phillies had no choice. Like Robertson,
you guys probably
back-to-back days, multi-innings.
Philly fans, you guys probably completely shredded his arm into pieces, but it's not our fault. Have fun with Taijuan Walker. That's all I got to say.
That's a good one.
You guys are gonna love him. He's, you're gonna love those tacos, mixed with Philly cheesesteak.
I wonder if he's still gonna do the tacos. We'll see.
What?
He's a better taco salesman than he is a pitcher.
He's a great taco salesman. But yeah, but Senga, it looks like next couple of days. I guess that's the daddish thing. That's next.
Wow.
But who knows? Maybe it's Senga and Chafin. Like, you know what? If Senga's a Met, it's Chafin. Why not? Just on top of it.
That would be a pretty
So, the payroll. Okay. So, according to Spot Track, So what we're seeing here is the big signings bring the Mets current payroll to $333 million, which would become a $398 million after the luxury tax. Jesus Christ. Wow. And we're not done.
Hey, and we're not poor, bro. Remember our payroll was like $33 million? Like, remember we were like the Indians? That's crazy.
Guardians.
And this is
No, they were Indians
before.
Oh, and back then, yes.
And this is before they send the McCann contract to Siberia.
Japan. Yeah, exactly. And if they move some money again, they're gonna
listen. Brittany Griner got released from prison. They were doing like some kind of swap or whatever.
It was
like
the most important WNBA
I
trade
thought it
of all
was.
time.
I was hoping it was James McCann, but it didn't happen.
Didn't happen that way.
This man doesn't want to go back on Twitter. He really does.
This is what exactly. Resign Bassett for a couple of years. It's smarter to sign Bassett, but you know what you're going to get from Chris Bassett. The more of the unknown of Senga being like, he could be Chris Bassett or he could be Shohei Ohtani on the mound. Like, that's why teams want him. There's the unknown. You know what you're going to get from Chris Bassett. And Senga could be a reliever or he could be Dice Cat. Like, it's one of the other.
I mean, the dream for pitching, I'd love to either get one of Bassett or Evaldi, and then you add Senga, but I think that's a little unrealistic at this point.
It's one of the other.
But if Senga is that, and then you also add a Ross Stripling, I wouldn't mind.
Yes,
wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Anything that pushes David Peterson down the depth chart. That's it.
We don't have to see him until mid-May. Just push him down until at least mid-May. But
yeah, we were M-Easy. We were talking about that earlier. There's talks about Trevor Williams and Ross Stripling and the addition of Senga that could push the possibility of the Mets maybe trading and moving, especially on this market, the Carrasco money, which was talked about. But I don't know. We'll see.
I wish we could show SNY right now because you guys should love to see what they're talking about right now.
If it's not Michelle Margot, I don't really care.
I mean, no, it's four old bald dudes, but the topics they're discussing are very intriguing.
Is it food?
It's not food, sadly. It's not a good bacon cheeseburger, sadly. But
I think what they're looking at with the Bassett versus Senga thing is that Bassett is 33 and Senga's 29. And if both of them want 5 to 6 year deals, you saw with DeGrom, like they're probably gonna go for Senga. I think that's
exactly. He's younger and the upside is higher than Bassett. It's just the fact. Younger and is a higher upside. You know what you're getting from Chris Bassett. You're gonna get an innings eater.
I mean, if Bassett leaves again, get Evaldi.
You got Evaldi. There's still quality out there.
I'm seeing no Evaldi because the QO.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything with him in general, so I don't know.
I would,
but anything looking at him. I love him, but I haven't seen anybody looking at him.
I mean, there is some. I think it's a little. To
but
have
do we
a
have
little
any
bit
draft
of
picks
control
left anyway?
with how...
Our draft picks got screwed by all these taxes, so it's like.
Well, yeah, now we have the 32nd pick in the first round.
Yeah, it's like, what's another draft pick at this point?
Well, how about you actually draft well?
I mean, listen, drafting Ashby to get Brooks Raley, and you got Ashby like the 6th or 7th round. That's like boom.
And that's and that's about. And they're already, Martino saying that Epler or Cohen wasn't Epler. Cohen's got his cross eye pinned on Shohei Ohtani next year. So
I believe
that makes them. Cohen makes the money. He likes making the money. There's no more money maker in baseball. So don't be surprised. He doesn't care. Like
that payroll. Listen, I don't even know because Ohtani he's gonna get like 400 million. Your payroll is 400 million, so you're basically like,
bro.
I don't
even care.
No one's got the money, but Jesus.
And he believes in the product. If you spend and win, you make the money back down the line. Like you put a competitive ball team out there. People will come to the games. You make the playoff. You get the play. If you spend money and you invest money, people will give you money back down the line. And Cohen believes in that. Unlike the Wilpons, who said we're always cheap as hell. Try what's up, man?
What's up, folks?
But,
for those who have not yet hit the like button, it's free. You might as well do it. Subscribing is free as well until we start charging you guys for it.
Exactly. Again, 1K, the OnlyFans drops. So remember,
Well,
gotta get that
you
1K.
know Bassett is good now. 0 point in signing Verlander if you're not trying to win now. Well, the thing is that Bassett is not at the caliber of Verlander. So it's like they needed another frontline guy to pair up with Scherzer with DeGrom leaving. But I will say one thing. They have a lot of flexibility down the line. So we now have Nimmo and Lindor locked down long term. And that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And exactly. And, we got a bird up. It's like every time I see a Twitter notification, I get scared. It's just people retweeting the Nimmo tweet.
You don't need 3 aces. Interesting.
You don't need them.
But
But with Steve Cohen's money, why not?
Why not? Again, when you got the bread and everybody else is poor.
This is like me as a Raider fan with all the all the teams in our division.
It's like we have all these superstars. I mean, you got J-Rods. I mean, you got
relievers. Relievers looking at Rogers and Chafin.
Chafin left-handed.
Sexy, but I doubt that happens with Rayleigh here.
Mm-hmm. And then it's like you're looking at Chad Green.
But Rogers is a bet. Rogers is a take a bet.
Rogers had a
Remember,
horrible
this
year.
guy got hurt. He didn't have that good of a year.
Wasn't as bad as you think.
But again, the fucking reliever market's ridiculous.
God, this whole market, dude. The fact that now people are not using their brain. They're just saying, "Hey, give term out now." That's just great. So what?
But the Mets and Robinson for once, like maybe they could like reverse it. I don't know. I hope so.
But no, I'm just saying, going forward for superstars, you're gonna have to. So like we're joking about Ohtani. It's gonna be 13 years, or it's gonna be something stupid to get him, because this is what superstars are going for. You know,
it's probably going to be like 13,400 around there. I don't know.
It's just ridiculous. Like, and we're joking about Machado. What does Machado get now? He's leaving 5 at 150, so he's in 200 for the next 5. Like, the market is just ridiculous. But again,
God.
This is a weird year where like GMs are just saying, "No, we'll worry about the back half at the end."
By the way, see what your girl Sierra says about Taylor Rogers, and I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, what's Taylor Rogers to Sierra? Let's.
I don't care.
He's not on the Mets. Let's just say it. Again, we have our.
He's not as bad as you think.
And he has some closing.
I mean,
experience.
I wouldn't.
And he's left-handed.
Again, I'm not. It's not my final decision. I don't use the final
For years
decision with these batted ball metrics, but there's some things.
Oh, did you guys see the Astros throwing shade at the Rangers and DeGrom?
Yes,
that was funny. That was
good guy. Good guy,
Astros.
Houston's also just amazing at everything. Like that's what wins titles. Like,
well, yeah, the Astros are a cheating factory. They have the
Pena was great. McCormick was great. I mean, Bregman, Jordan, like they have so much. They have everything. So that's what wins titles. Like,
and that's something we didn't talk about Rayleigh. He is the last 2 teams he's been with. He's gone through the 2 best pitching factories, Houston and Tampa Bay. Like
that's why it's such a late turnaround. That is,
dude is. No, I can't wait to see Brooks Raley in a Mets jersey and Brandon Nimmo.
He was like he went through like the yearly arc of shit batted ball luck, and then just he popped off this year. Man went crazy. I love Brooks Raley.
I think
the best
Tony
lefty
Metro
reliever in baseball. By
Tony
the way.
might be joining us shortly, so just hang on a second. Tony Metro might be joining us, but. We'll see. I think Myers, the Pirates have actually talked about Myers, so that was a team I did see who want him just to sell tickets.
Yeah, they'll trade him, so he
Yeah.
ain't gonna stay there, I would think.
It's something, but again, it depends. Does he want to win or does he want to go play on a bad team? Money talks.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see what his priorities are. But I think, I mean, with the Mets, like, will they offer him full-time DH? I don't know.
Nah, I think it just again they would give him the role in
He's probably
San
going to
Diego
play every
'cause-
day.
Yeah, because he stopped playing he played against lefties like in San Diego because they had all those players, and now they're the definition of an MLB The Show Diamond Dynasty team. Let's just have a 99 diamond everywhere and figure it out later. You getting and the Ohtani thing?
Like $1 billion infield.
I think Rodon's completely out of the question.
Yep.
Especially when we're when we're pretty much debating the possibility of Bassett and Evaldi being added, like maybe not. I think
like
Rodon's
Rodon's
completely
market
out of
is-
the question.
And looks like the Yankees are going to pay him $30 million a year for 6 years.
I
That's
don't see it.
that's what the favorite. That's what everyone's saying. That they're the favorite. $30 million a year for 6 years.
I mean, then the Yankees are finally spending big again. Like I feel like Judge was probably like their big signing, and that's probably it. But
I mean, who they
Dodgers
lose?
are being too quiet for me to feel comfortable.
Oh yeah, the Dodgers, the
Yeah.
Braves.
fair.
You know, they haven't
Yeah,
done
both
anything.
teams, yeah.
Well, we have seen a player that the Braves have been linked to.
Tyler Anderson went to the Angels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you see who the Braves were linked to? You guys saw that?
I don't think I did.
They were linked to Elvis Andrews to play shortstop. That's who the Braves
I
have been linked
mean,
to.
he played great after he got picked up at the end. So
That's
with,
who the-
with them,
only-
they'll cheat, and well, they won't cheat, but they'll find a way to make him amazing, and he'll be great. So,
The 2011.
They're
Andrews
signing
will be back.
Alcides Escobar.
Oh, 100%. Just
again, they'll
troll.
finally
Yeah.
make him productive too.
Just it's the stupidest thing.
How do I feel like?
I mean, I
Montoya's
still
contract in
think-
the Mariners?
Like Dansby, I think is still gonna be a Brave, but I don't know.
If it's over $200 million, I doubt it, because that's probably what's going to cost $200 million on Swanson. Since what's it called making? If Bogart's got what 290, what was the exact 288, whatever the hell what it
I think it was
was, over
290.
11 years.
289, whatever it is.
No, no. I think I have a better chance of dating Haley Seinfeld than the Pirates do of signing Shohei Ohtani. So I know that you might be a Pirates fan, but no, no. So we're waiting to see if anything else dropping.
DH.
Again, let's see. There really isn't any now with Josh Bell, who I didn't want, getting sick. $13 million a year from what's
For
it
the
called?
Guardians. Yeah,
Guardians.
Waiting for the Darren Ruff. Just waiting for the Darren Ruff trade to drop.
And
Hop
dude,
off
imagine they got rid of
fast.
both McCann and Ruff in the same trade.
Who did they attach to do that?
Matt Allen, baby, he has all
Matt
his
Allen,
untapped
Ronnie
potential.
Mauricio, gone.
Gone. Dude, Haley is she's definitely single, bro. Jeez, come on. But Pirates have a better chance. I wanted another outfielder, but Nemo's off. You get Conforto, man. He's up there.
Like, you can
Yeah,
have
Conforto. Yeah, where does Conforto go now?
Joey Gallo. There you go.
Long Island Ducks still have an opening. I mean,
Ducks
the
do have an
office still
opening.
That's not funny anymore. That's just offensive.
It was true. They were listen. SNY tweeted it. It has to be true.
The Ducks were like,
Absolutely
"Hey,
not.
Mike, you want to go play?" Oh man, they love selling. Again, they're doing the Pirates. They love sell tickets.
Yeah,
Come see former All-Star Michael Conforto. Come to Bethpage Ballpark.
Michael Conforto.
Conforto and JD Martinez. I would like. I mean,
And listen, George Foster crawled so Brandon Nimmo could run. So
facts.
we gotta give props to the old guys.
Let's see. Conforto and JD Martinez. I mean, Seattle. Right now, who's the DH in Seattle then? Because they lost.
Not
Wink.
Winker. They traded him.
They traded Wink Dog. I mean, they got Colton to play second now.
Mitch is gone.
Who?
I said Mitch is gone. They got Teoscar.
Haniger's gone. So yeah, I could see Conforto. I could see. I don't know about JD Martin. I can see Conforto. I don't know about JD. Maybe. I wouldn't be. Like, who is going to sign JD Martinez? Boston's not going to do it now because they suck. I don't know if they're very rebuilt. They just suck. I mean, I don't know. Again, if Jose Abreu's making $20 million, I don't know what's it called? It's going to be. Still, God, $20 million Jose Abreu. Conforto project. Imagine going into the offseason thinking Jose Abreu and Taijuan Walker are going to make $140 million combined.
Well, Jose Abreu, he was like high on the list for the first base market, DH market.
Yeah, I like to
Taiwan
win
Walker
I would
him.
expect that.
stinks.
You mean Brian Reynolds? I mean, you trading for Ryan. Ryan Reynolds is a very expensive trade piece, but Brian Reynolds, I could see the Giants pivoting.
See, this needs to be starred. Like, this is just facts. Very true.
Facts. This is they played the same production last year,
Agreed.
but yeah, Brian. They've talked. I think Miami's interested. I think the Giants will definitely pivot and missing out on Judge. I would be surprised to see
Giants are getting somebody.
Correa. So yeah, that's probably
it seems like Correa is probably the one.
Giants.
I would have said the
mad.
Yankees. They didn't sign Judge, but
The
I mean, I
Giants
would
are pissed off. Right
Seattle
now,
as
so
well.
they're
Yeah,
gonna do
Seattle is
something.
another team that has been picking around the Brian Reynolds fan base. I think it was Kelnick, Emerson Hancock, and Matt Brash were like the rumored package to go the other way. So that's what
quite a haul.
what a couple of Seattle beat reporters have been saying. It's like Brash, Hancock, and Kelnick going the other way. But again, that's just rumors. Who knows?
Like,
Oh, wow.
But yo, you put J-Rod Reynolds and Teoscar. That's just sex. That's beautiful. That is a beautiful outfield. I'd rather have
Reynolds play a corner.
I mean, hell, they could make. You should make Teoscar the DH because he's not the best defender. I mean, you could use him as a DH and then put like.
how about move on from both Ruff and Conforto?
Facts. Just send them both and
Just move on from both of them. How about that?
I guess TonyMetro is not joining us. So
The book has been closed on Conforto for a year now, and yet everybody just keeps bringing it up.
Juan Soto's
We
coming.
get it. We get it. We don't like Carson. We understand.
Josh Jacobs is hurt. Just letting you know.
Of course he is.
Something in his hand.
All right. Well, enter Zeus.
Enter Zeus. So. We got 60 people in here, and I don't know what the likes are, but if you drop a like, subscribe, check out my channel, check out Frank About Sports channel. They're all linked in the description below. Subscribe to this channel, put a notification bell on for any of these last-minute breaking news, random streams that we don't expect. We do have, again, the podcast dropping on Sunday, which there'll be our three of us plus our fourth co-host talking probably for about 9 hours about all the things the Mets have done and where do the Mets finish in the division? Probably all this week. Conforto, Heyman, Michael. Nice. That's great. That's great. So this is a tell me will be free. I mean, Seattle's going to spend somewhere. You know, they got their J-Rod deal. I don't think they're going mega deals. I guess I'm trading for him though. Like at the deadline, if they ain't. Well, no, they're in the same division. I doubt. What the hell's the guy's name? Harry Menageren's trading in the division.
Wow.
All right. I mean, yeah, if Senga signs tonight, we'll be back, but we'll see.
Yeah, probably. We'll run it for another 5-ish minutes. Any extra questions other than that? We'll hop off and.
But again,
gonna go see a sleazy dub from my Raiders.
I mean, you
It's
beat
Thursday Night Football.
You beat Baker Mayfield. Congratulations. You didn't even beat Baker Mayfield. You didn't even
Win
start.
is a win, baby.
But at what cost? Now your only offense is gone. Darren Ruff's son or thought. I love those questions. Those questions are the best. I love those questions. So stupid, but it's funny. Pete Alonso, future Philly. I mean, they like fat Jabba the Hutt first baseman, so it wouldn't make sense.
Fat Jabba
I
the
mean,
Hutt.
he's been battling Ryan Howard for all his accolades, so.
I think they'll be able to move Ruff. McCann's going to be a little bit more challenging, but
So yeah, you can probably call like a Kansas City for Ruff and then not give up much or something like one
again,
of those bottom
like
feeders.
No. And then
all
Martino was
this-
saying again, he believes they're going to be very much in Ohtani next year.
And the Dodgers are gonna be the same way because they're staying quiet for that exact reason. So it's gonna be another bidding war like Verlander. Well, Verlander maybe with less bidding war, but they were the two teams. Don't be surprised if it's a $50, $60 million deal, bidding war for Ohtani next year between the Mets and the Dodgers. Pete.
all right. Well, we have 104 votes on our poll about how people feel about Nimmo being locked down for the next 8 years in Queens. 69% nice, love it. 70% now it just went up to. 22% are neutral and 9% don't like it. Those 9% people, you suck.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to Nimmo, nobody likes that it's 8 years, but when you look at the free agent market,
I don't care.
You weren't going to get another two-way center fielder. It's as simple as that. So,
Shohei's market's going to be nuts, and
Oh, yeah.
then Soto's market's going to be crazy too.
I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be.
I think
Ohtani's.
I think Ohtani was going to be the really crazy one because the double side, like the pitching and hitting. So he's probably the one that's really, really crazy. Juan Soto, we'll see. Like, he needs a bounce back here. I know, like, advanced numbers his year was still good, but it wasn't like what the fans expected.
He still was
It was with San Diego. So
he still was good.
He still was good, but it wasn't like this
the guy's 24
record-breaking-
years old. I mean, we think he's not going to reach that capacity again. Like,
So we'll see. I mean, we'll see if San Diego's for him and all
Juan
that.
Godot.
Trey, I'm more of a Kirby guy. I know Gilbert was good, but I'm all in on George Kirby. Guy's gonna be. I don't think he's an ace, but I think he's a very good number 2. Like if with Castillo, he will be the perfect. Just fit him behind Castillo. It'll be very nice.
What about
Gilbert?
Robbie Ray?
And Robbie Ray can just be the 5. Gilbert the number 3, and then
Robbie Ray can piss half.
and then Soto and Ohtani combine $1 billion at this point. Yeah,
It'll be close.
North of 800 easily. We'll see.
Yes. It'll be close.
We'll see how the market is next year. If it's just like this year where stars are getting 13 years and $50 million.
Soto is the one that scares me just because of his age. Like the total could be a crazy amount.
Oh, he's doing a Harper. He's definitely getting 13 because he's coming out the same year Harper, age 26. So he's gonna get 13 at.
We need bats.
We
Nimmo's a bat.
agree, dude. We agree, dude.
Nimmo's a bat, though. Listen, this lineup isn't the lineup without Nimmo in it, so we need Nimmo. Nimmo. I think a lot of Mets fans, if he were to leave, like it looked like he was going to, because Boris Client, we can't even read it. A lot of Mets fans were gonna realize how important Brandon Nimmo is to this team.
If Kevin Kiermaier was playing in center field, that was your option.
Dodge a fucking bullet there.
Kevin Kiermaier, yeah.
I think the Mets, they realize that like the market after Brandon Nimmo is not good, and you're still not going to have a full-on guarantee of a good center fielder.
Oh, yeah,
if you get one of these corner
unless
guys.
you were trading for Reynolds or Happ, there was no two-way guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was nothing you could really fix fully with just money if you didn't get him. Where's Chris Archer?
Giving up another home run.
Yeah, I think he's signed with the Guangdong Tigers, I believe. I think he's playing in the KBO. Pretty sure.
Another KBO guy.
Yeah, Shohei's a little bit older than Soto, so like
Shohei's quite a bit older than Soto.
But you have the generational. He does you both, and look at the money you can make in jersey.
Yeah, because Ohtani's 28, Soto's 24.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Dude, Preller don't care. I wish
Preller.
Dude, imagine if the Mets had Preller as their GM.
Preller's just a
Cohen money.
Listen, you could say whatever you want about Preller. At least the man is trying. Like he's like, I'm trading all my prospects. Yeah. I'm spending all the money. Like I'm trying. I'm giving Trey all the money. I'm giving Judge. Like somebody's gonna take this money, whether it's Judge, Trey, Xander. Like somebody's getting paid. Like
11 years to Xander Bogaerts, though.
Bogaerts, like,
what was his alternative? He was just like, somebody take this money.
Whew. I mean, Xander's a good player. I like him, but like,
it isn't. I mean. Would you rather just be like, no, let's be cheap and prospect hug everybody? Like,
I'd much rather have a GM that just, you know what, I want to win. I don't care what it costs. If it burns you down the way.
A lot of guys in the farm are lottery tickets. You don't know how they're gonna turn out.
Juan Soto isn't good.
I mean, the only guy that I'm like, I'd be scared of if I was a Padre fan that you gave up in that deal. I get like, everyone's gonna say C.J. Abrams or Mackenzie Gore. Robert Hassel's the only piece in that trade that if you look back, it's probably going to be the piece you're like, damn, you got to wait. I don't believe in Abrams and Gore. James Wood is okay. Hassel's the piece you're like, if he gets away, that would be the piece you're like, damn, that would have been nice to have in the system. Everybody else is kind of like,
it still is your future, but you can trade that for guys who actually have proven they can do it at the major league.
But I mean, they don't have. Like, even though they have a lot of good players locked up,
it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. That's where the sunk cost comes in. I mean,
and the rotation is not locked up long term. So, I mean, they kind of had to pounce a little bit. Like lineup wise, yes. Machado, does he opt out? Maybe. Tatis is locked up. I think. Listen, I think with them signing Bogarts, I think there's some possibility that Tatis gets traded somewhere along the way. I think the relationship there still isn't great.
Nope.
So who knows?
AJ Preller
He's
is
gonna have to play the
Carson
outfield,
GM.
but
That's actually facts. Be like, I'll give it years. Who cares? 13 years for you. You're a staple.
Well, I need a
we're not
balance of
prospect
it.
talking.
I need a
We're
balance of it. I'm not going to give it to everybody.
No,
but
you
it's
would
like,
literally pay everybody. You don't care. You're like, who cares about years down
What
the
you're
line?
telling me with just Lindor on here long term?
No, you would have
wouldn't
given
have given out
DeGrom. You
a
would have
long-term
paid
contract to
Fordo
someone?
7 years. You would have locked up everybody if you were the Mets GM.
I mean, yeah, I would have. No,
Baez
I mean,
would be
after the
here.
year that Conforto had, I would have given him the qualifying offer, right? Like they did. He rejected it, and then they move on, right? He only played to deserve a qualifying offer, right? I'm not stupid. I mean, maybe, but
also, if you sign Senga over Bassett, you get that draft pick because the QO on Bassett. So it's another thing that
oh
doesn't
my
hurt.
God, fuck them picks. Who cares about drafting a bunch of white dudes? No one cares. Get to the international pool, folks. This is where the international studs are out. Come on now.
Where Juan Soto and Shohei Ohtani came from.
Where Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani, Ronald Acuna Jr. There's where all the stars are at. Now all these white dudes in the draft. Get out of here, man.
Alvarez. I mean,
I would do desperate.
wasn't drafted out of college.
Logan Webb. I'm not the biggest
Webb,
Webb.
though.
I know Webb. A lot of people like Logan Webb's stuff. He's got good stuff, I guess. I'm
Good
a big
stuff.
fan. So, Conforto. I would love to see Conforto go to the Astros.
I think
They play left. Who's playing left field? Crawford boxes and nobody there.
I think now that Nimmo's a Met, we saw the Blue Jays. We saw the Blue Jays as a possibility
for Nimmo.
For Nimmo.
They want a lefty
Could they
bat,
direct to
so
Benintendi? Could they direct to
Joey
I
Gallo?
don't know.
Like, I mean, isn't Michael Brantley already a Blue Jay? Like maybe they can make that official. They already signed Michael Brantley last time. So now
The younger version of Michael Brantley is Michael Conforto.
So
So
I mean,
there
I
you
would,
go.
and especially in that lineup, having
Asset
bat like
management.
8. Like you could have Conforto about 8 in that lineup. Damn, I kind of want to see that now. To be honest, kind of want to see that. But all right, I think we got it.
so-
I think we've gone for enough.
What I will say is that I don't think Conforto comes back to the
Yeah.
Mets. I can
He's
tell
no
you that.
longer wearing a Met uniform.
I know we joke about the fourth outfielder, but you're going to be giving what $19 million to a fourth outfielder? Like, get out of here.
I mean, Bellinger would have.
I understand we got more money than God, but that's where you stop it. That's where we fork out the $6 million for
Kevin
Adam
Bullock.
Ottavino.
Robert Grossman, or like the $3 million for Corey Dickerson, or
Adam Duvall.
No. So
would you go 10?
That's a lot of baby.
If he was a little younger,
50 a year, I'd do it.
maybe.
I'd do it.
Maybe.
Yeah, you're paying when he's 38. It's dicey.
And Verlander.
Like
and
if he
Deal
went
is
to the
all
market
about
when he was
the- I would
25 and
do
he's
it.
not going to the market when he's 30, he'll go to the market when he's 30, right? Shohei? Yeah. He's 25.
Again, worst
because-
case, his
or
pitching
26.
deteriorates.
He's 28.
So,
28. So 29. So if he was like 26 going to the market, 27 going to the market, it'd be a little bit different. Extra 2 years back into that deal, you'd consider it. I would give I mean, I think there's a lot of teams that would do that.
Yeah.
And I think the Mets may be one of those teams. But
Yeah, I mean
we'll
that's
see.
the thing I'm curious about. Like, are the Mets waiting it out till free agency, or are they actually considering a trade for Ohtani first? That's what I wonder.
I don't think Perry's already said that his kid will murder
I think they're
him if he
keeping their
trades for
long-term
Ohtani, so I
options
don't-
open and still trying to win now, obviously.
It's a bidding war.
And-
That's what's going to be. Dodgers, Mets.
I will say, I mean, they've
course.
done a very good job with finding depth options so far with this waiver wire of guys they've brought in. They can have a deep roster. And listen, throw a bunch of darts at a board, one of them's gonna hit the bullseye. I mean, come on now. I mean, all these
I
guys,
guarantee you.
Steven Ridings, William Woods, who's the other one? Denvi Reyes.
Taylor
Who's the other
Saucedo.
guy? Zach Muckenhurst,
The
like all
Sauce
these
Man.
guys,
So.
One of them's going to hit the target.
Hey, look at this.
don't,
Look at this.
the Mets are
a
a problem.
4x4. That never happens.
I know.
There we
Rare.
go.
Huh. Hey, when you're 3 hours ahead of me, you guys, come on. It's a lot easier. Come on. You guys are hitting me up when it's like my lunchtime out here. Come on.
It's a fact. Hey, Nimmo don't like West Coast time. Sorry.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
And tell me if I'm wrong. It was 8 years, 188. Is that what it was?
162. It's right in many games you play.
162.
162.
Not bad. Not bad. All right. I mean, hey, you had to do it because what were you going to go? What other route did you have? A defensive center fielder and then try to bring in a bigger bat elsewhere. I mean, there's really no hand and glove fit, unfortunately, for this offense. Nimmo was that hand for the glove. So, yeah, I'm ecstatic about it. And then obviously right on the heels of that to get Robertson. Awesome. Awesome day.
We'll see how they address the rest of the bullpen. I'm interested. I think that they could get another arm a little bit cheaper, but you know what? The reliever market, who the hell knows at this point? You're going to be getting, your mid-tier has gone to your good tier, and then your good tier has gone to your very good tier, and your very good tier has gone to elite now. So mainly because of a problem that the Mets created, because of signing Diaz, who was terrible in 2019. I'm excited to see where they pivot next, because, and I also enjoy the shock of not knowing what they're gonna do, because we didn't hear David Robertson's name. We heard Chafin a few times, right?
Yep.
We also heard around this point last night, the Mets are not overly optimistic about bringing back Brandon Nimmo. So closed doors, it's exciting and it's also frightening, but if they want to work that way, so be it. If they stay focused on actually trying to build a winning team and a team that can go far into the playoffs and possibly win the World Series, by all means, if that's the best way you want to do it, go ahead. There hasn't been a single move so far where I'm like, what the hell are we doing? This is a disgrace. This is not, there's no McCann level move right now. Like, these are all moves that you understand why they bring them in, and that they help your team either way. And now we're starting to see that maybe this roster is starting to shape up into a better product than it was last year. Still got a lot of work to do, and we know that the Mets are going to continue to do it. But yeah, at 9:30 at night, we're 9:30 at night, 10:30 at night, we're happy. I'm happy. 8 years, $162 million for Nimmo, and then David Robertson, $10 million for 1 year. Not bad. If we want to do some final thoughts, because we've gone over an hour here, I know that would cut Tony's time a little bit. But you show up late, that's what happens. You get punished. I hope McCann washes. I hope he. I was hoping he was the player to be named later, but I guess not.
So what are what are your guys' feelings on Magnum going over in this Elisier trade? I mean, I'm sure not good.
I think it hurts the depth chart more than it just hurts like the roster construction. It just hurts the depth chart of outfield options. And I think they're going to bring in more outfield options, but
it was further proof why they had to re-sign Nimmo, because not only were things looking bad externally, internally they're even worse. So it's like we just had no other options right now for center field. So, or just young outfielders in general in the farm system, big league ready. There's nobody. So losing Mangum only added to that.
Okay, this man is not welcome here at all. He has ruined he has destroyed nightmares. I will not root for him if he's here. I'm sorry. Alcides Escobar, gone. All right. I'm not even that big on Eduardo Escobar. Okay. So Alcides Escobar, absolutely not. Ruined my life. Hate that guy.
And I guess my thing with Mangum, I said it right this time. It didn't take me 9 tries to get it. They made it clear, leaving him available for the Rule 5 draft, they weren't high on him. He's already 27. So like, he's not like, oh, he's 23. You're like, oh, he's still like, he's already in his prime and he's barely got the AAA. So yes, is it an option like you said on the depth chart? Yeah. But in the grand scheme of things, he didn't really care. The Mets didn't value him because if they valued him enough, he wouldn't have been protecting the Rule 5 draft. And you got 2 major league arms for him. So it's not like, again, you're just trading him for a Rule 5 pick or cash considerations. You got 2 people that are probably going to factor on your big league roster. For Mangum, probably not going to be on the big league club unless we go through another 62 to 3 guys year.
Sounds like a Matt.
Yeah.
Sounds like a repeat of Matt Den Decker, in my opinion. Which who did we have in center field when a lot of Mets fans were clamoring for Den Decker? Was it Nimmo or was it? I think he was a little before Nimmo.
I think it was like Andres Torres, that generation. That Torres,
Torres
before Lagares. He was before.
It was Lagares. That's who his competition was.
It's possible it's a Matt Den Decker thing because Den Decker had his injury problems before he was called up to the Mets in the majors. Jesus Christ. And then he also had a pretty good balance of contact and power and was a good defender in center field. So maybe it is a Matt Den Decker thing, or maybe it's just one of those guys that enters the Marlins realm of torturing the Mets for the next 10 years.
100%.
But who knows? Because he can be that type of rat player that is annoying. He's a Marlin. He definitely is a Marlin type of player.
Yeah.
But
yes, we'll do any
other than
final
that,
thoughts.
I think
Let Tony
just
go first.
closing remarks of how we feel. Let's start with the Nimmo fan himself. Me? No. And Andrew, how do you feel? Obviously, I asked you already, but go ahead for those who missed it.
Again, I'll be on the field for batting practice in Kansas City on August 1st. Like I'm happy. Maybe we'll grab some barbecue before the game. I doubt that. I'm not going to eat dinner with him, but I'll definitely be able to dap him up and say what's up. And again,
you won't be able to afford that bill, even with the contract extension.
I mean, he's picking up the bill now. We're going to dinner. He's picking it up. It was 50-50 before. Usually it was 50-50. Now he's got the big boy money. And so, Nim, you're going to have to pick up the tab, my guy. But again, it's a Met for life. Barring at the end of the deal, he's traded for a box of cookies. In terms of, or worst case, it's just another Robinson Cano contract for at least me benefits. That's how I see it.
Tony, you didn't get much remarks because you came in here late. So how do you feel about these 2 signings?
Yes, I've been reminded multiple times that I came in late. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I got the news from you guys from our group chat. I was busy off doing some other objectives, but I was stoked because we were looking at a very big hole on this roster if you didn't bring Nimmo back, both as the catalyst of this lineup, the feistiness, and really what embodied the Mets lineup last year started with Brandon Nimmo. And, of course, how great of a center fielder he has become, the strides that he has taken in center field. It would have been extremely difficult, really, in my opinion, impossible to replace Brandon Nimmo. So the Mets go out, they bring their guy back. And, I mean, I'm stoked about it. Like you said, Met for life, which is awesome. That really rarely happens, as we see with our friend Jacob deGrom. And so I'm stoked about that. And, of course, for Robertson as well. Still more work to be done. Would like to see what happens now with the rotation. And I really, truly still feel this lineup needs another bat, a legit bat, not relying and hoping that Francisco Alvarez comes up and hits 30 home runs in his rookie year, that Brett Beatty hits 20. They really either need to get another bat, but there's still time, obviously. So things are looking pretty good. And don't trust the beat reporters, because just this morning, I think it was Mark Healy who said, or Martino, I think Martino said, Mets do not feel confident in their ability to bring back Brandon Nimmo. Just this morning, tweeted that out. So don't believe it.
They were also optimistic about deGrom. So everything you can't believe anything from anybody.
Especially the little weasel Martino, especially him.
Oh, we knew that a long time ago.
All right, well, Frank, last words, because we don't know if we'll see you because you're too old. We don't know if we'll see you again.
I mean, this is pretty rare.
How do you feel?
Yeah, we got all of us here because it was an exciting day for the Mets. Again, I'm just relieved because I couldn't take Kevin Kiermaier. I really couldn't take it. It would just be just so painful to watch at the plate. You couldn't, like Tony said, like we just couldn't afford another hole because Alvarez isn't the starting catcher yet. DH is still a platoon. You know what I mean? Like there was still just too many other question marks in this lineup. We couldn't add another one because it's like they have the biggest payroll, and then it's like, where's the improvement? Like it wouldn't have been a good like improvement from last year. So at least they have that. So if anything, at minimum, they're the same as last year. Now it's a matter of like, okay, what can we actually do to improve the team? So at least right now, most of the holes are covered. You still have at least one in the rotation, couple of bullpen slots. At least the back end is pretty secure now with Rayleigh and Robertson and re-signing Diaz. So at least the holes are slowly starting to close a little bit, and you're getting more, like you said earlier, more of a complete team. And that's just where they got to go from there and then see where they can make improvements.
26-26. It looks like they're trying to go into the direction of not doing that. That's nice. We haven't really seen much position player depth be filled up, but the pitching depth is definitely something extremely important. One of our main rules here is if you think you have enough pitching, you don't. You never do. Brandon Nimmo has re-signed with the Mets, 8 years, $162 million. Is there any options that I missed? Just fully guaranteed.
A full no trade. That was also
full no trade clause. And also David Robertson, 1 year, $10 million to be in the back end of that bullpen. I was excited to see the news because it wasn't looking great. It changed very quickly. My man Max Crosby made an incredible tackle behind the line of scrimmage. It's a great play. And then I see that Brandon Nimmo gets re-signed. So it was great. It's fantastic. Glad to be back on here. News has been nuts. We've been streaming a lot, and we'll only probably go live for just breaking news. That's probably what you're going to see in the future. Episode 1 of the Mets Weekly Podcast will be on here Sunday, middle of the day. We're going to discuss everything that went on the last week and probably a few weeks before that because so much is going on. It'll be the first episode, so maybe it'll be a little bit longer. But other than that, follow us on TikTok. All of that stuff. I do shorts about little things all the time. Subscribe to this channel for those of you in here. We still got about 70, 80 people in here. Like the stream. Subscribe for those of you who have not already for daily Mets content. So we'll see you guys next time. Once again, Brandon Nimmo re-signed, and we also got David Robertson within 10 seconds. The Mets are crazy. They sign people in clumps. This is nuts. Maybe we'll be back in 10 minutes. So we'll see you guys. LFGM all. And yeah, Nimmo's here for life. Woohoo.